welcome to another episode of Cobra Never Dies. I'm your host, Nina.
And I'm your other host, Lata.
And we're going to get into it with episode 2, Strike First. So on the last Cobra Kai, which was, many moons ago? It was last week. We get a solid introduction to Johnny and his dojo dreams.
Mm-hmm. And we get a couple of Johnny montages. So in this week's episode, we start with a Daniel LaRusso montage.
I know, and what a montage it is. It's set to Dean Martin.
How lucky can one by be? Ain't that a kick in the head?
Ain't that a kick in the head? Yeah, that song.
That song. It's a very, very good choice for this montage.
He does not wake up in a shitty apartment in Encino. He wakes up in a mansion.
Yep, next to his beautiful wife, who he drinks little perfect cups of espresso with. He is handing beautifully made breakfast to his laughing children. He goes to work. He hands bonsais to all his customers.
He seems very, very happy with his life, which makes me think that it's queuing up for a major midlife crisis, right? It's inevitable.
Right. You also want to punch him in the face.
Yeah. So, Johnny started at the bottom and he's got nowhere to go but up, whereas now we're going to see Daniel LaRusso's epic fall, I think.
I want to also give Ralph Macchio props for just... His character's not he's not a bad man, clearly, but they set him up to be the kind of person where you're just ugh, he irritates me.
I think I now follow Ralph Macchio on Twitter because... I'm not going to go into the reasons why I do that. Actually, in setting up this Twitter account, I kept getting it wrong, and so I've now followed. I've followed Ralph Macchio numerous times from.
She means when she's setting up our Twitter account.
Yes, obviously I'm not very tech savvy, so Ralph Macchio has received a lot of attention from me this week, and he's such a nice guy on Twitter. He's thanking fans personally, and I don't know. It kind of offsets the smugness you get from his character.
Right. And I actually think that's really cool of Ralph Macchio to be let's take this character and let's not be too you can think of some actors who'd be no, my character always needs to be heroic and amazing in every scene. And he's no, make my character just seem a little punchable. I also think he would be the type to give bonsai trees away in real life. That's true.
And for no reason.
Last week when we were doing this, you were talking about how much you hate bonsai trees. Have you changed your mind about that? Since Twitter stalking Ralph Macchio.
In the show, I think he cheapens the bonsai tree. So I'm agnostic about bonsais, okay?
I think bonsais are lovely little treasures, and as much as I hate Ralph Macchio's character, I would dig if somebody handed me a bonsai tree for free. They seem
like a very finicky plant, okay?
They're very finicky.
And really easily. The bonsai is a metaphor, right? It's a metaphor for so many things. Pruning your life, pruning your karate practice. I don't know.
That's all you got, huh?
I'm working here, okay? So yes, he seems very settled into his life.
And right after, in this Daniel LaRusso montage, you see him hand somebody a bonsai. You see him driving home from work, and then screech, the music comes to a stop because he sees, in some crappy strip mall, he sees the Cobra Kai dojo.
And he is straight up triggered by this sign.
Mm-hmm.
He's
got all these flashbacks to a young Johnny Lawrence kicking his ass, and
I just love the number of flashbacks, how flashback prone each of these characters are.
Right.
And then it automatically switches to Johnny, who is now leading his first lesson
with Miguel, who is so adorable. Oh my god.
It actually hurts, he's such an adorable teen. He wants to learn all of the karate lessons.
He asks, do I get the karate pajamas too? And that's what we were all wondering, Miguel.
We all just want the outfit.
Yeah, the karate pajamas. When she is quickly snapped into place, he learns that that's called a gi, and that he should only refer to Johnny as sensei. And it's actually I feel like this lesson perfectly encapsulates kind of the dynamic that they're gonna have, where Johnny's there's no weakness here, throw away your inhaler, there's no asthma in this dojo, no peanut allergies, and Miguel's actually those are medical conditions.
Yes. Yeah. He has him cleaning mats and taking care of exposed wires, as you do.
And he tells him real words that I think we all can live by, which is you don't want to be a pussy, you have to have balls, and
and he calls and Miguel calls him out for, quote, genderizing. Miguel is going to lead the revolution, right? I can tell.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just, you definitely see a lot of like Johnny reacting to like millennial culture with like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy. Which, in some ways that is the message that we all need.
That's a lesson that you taught me, Lata.
Thank you. I mean, you really should stop being a pussy. When I knew I was just a
soft suburban. Never, I guess. That's the dynamic we have.
You're
here.
my Miguel.
I'm Miguel in this? What a compliment.
That was too complimentary. So, anyways, their lesson is interrupted by a health code inspector coming in, who basically informs Johnny that, like, again, one thing I give props to the show for is that it's really cognizant of, like, the shit that exists in the real world. Like, Johnny, you can't have a dojo until you get it up to health code, you gotta get insurance.
That's what the show really needs, is some grounding realism. Like, have we really thought about the health codes of dojos?
Right? I mean, somebody has to, Nina.
Remember the scabies outbreak
at the hot yoga studio?
Place? That seems very likely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, so I like that. Nina apparently just wants to live in this fantasy world where anybody, including us, can open up a dojo tomorrow. Stay tuned for that.
God.
But
so then it switches back to unfortunately Daniel LaRusso's charms,
his country club,
his semi-charmed kind of life at the Encino Country Club, where we get introduced to his children. So there's Sam
and the other one.
The other one
is
Anthony.
Anthony,
I had to look this up. So
you get introduced to Anthony LaRusso, who's just
a gamer.
He's just a kind of he's like a kind of sedentary kid who plays on his iPad a lot. He's kind of like a little asshole. The interesting thing is that we've watched 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, and Anthony LaRusso does not feature prominently. Like Daniel's other child.
I'd love to tell you that, he becomes another, maybe he does. Maybe he becomes another student.
I want the 3rd season to be just the rise of Anthony, because like he's basically just this like little piece of shit who's just like, Dad, give me a drink. I'm tired.
I know, but also Daniel LaRusso is just like, hey, too much screen time, kid. Why aren't you in the pool? And it's like, come on, leave him alone.
Oh, you're on Daniel-san's team. What a surprise.
I'm not.
But,
I'm on no one's team.
Wait, no, you're actually on Anthony LaRusso's team. Never mind. But
yes, the little known Anthony LaRusso team. Maybe I should follow him on Twitter.
Maybe you should.
God, I bet he's not even on Twitter. He's just...
He is played by a fairly young child, so maybe not. But
okay, that would be kind of creepy.
Yeah. And you're already getting pretty creepy with your multiple followings of,
oh my God.
Of Ralph Macchio.
Whatever. We're past shame at this point.
But the other thing is that we meet Aisha, who is a lovely young teenager. She's like a bit on the hefty side, and she is a friend of Daniel's daughter, Sam. Or she used to be, because she's like at the country club and she's saying, I haven't seen Sam all summer. And
she wants to talk about robot camp, and don't we all?
Right, she's going to robot camp, clearly a good nerdy kid that we all can root for. But it seems that like her former BFF Sam isn't really hanging with her, because Sam is popular now, as we see when we cut to a scene, right, at the Daniel LaRusso mansion, where
it is a proper mansion.
It's a nice,
he kept taking
nice
like
house.
Various left turns, and he was like in another corridor.
Right, it just keeps going.
Like, Jesus Christ!
There's a really nice looking pool, which. Like Sam is hanging out with like all of her cool popular friends in bikinis and like bathing suits, and it's just the kind of party I never knew existed.
The other side of Encino, the rich side.
Mm-hmm.
What I find weird is Daniel LaRusso, true to form, decides to bust up this pool party. Although I was briefly on his side when he discovered that all of these guys are wearing his swim trunks.
That's so invasive.
1, he has 50 pairs of swim trunks.
That's weird too. Yeah.
And 2, what are you thinking, Sam? Wouldn't you be just a little skeeved out if all of your guy friends were like, cool if I wear your dad's trunks?
Totally. Get your junk up in there. Including, I will say, Sam's love interest, Kyler the Asian bully, who's back.
I don't believe Asian parents would ever name their son Kyler.
I know. It's great. It's so great.
I can tolerate a lot of things, but that was just too much.
Right. It's like, no, his name cannot possibly be Kyler. But I do, again, I'm here for him as, like, the Asian bully Claude, who's, like, clearly just exists to get beat up by the hero. Like I said, I feel like he's breaking barriers just by being his asshole self. It's
God.
awesome.
I want to do a field trip to Encino just to be like, where are you, Kylers? Are you out there?
I think it shows a lot that, you know, anybody can be anything. And Kyler is, like, apparently, like, eye-banging Samantha, and her friends are like, oh my god, Sam, Kyler's looking at you. I'm like, who knew an Asian dude would be able to achieve such a thing? Sorry, tears in my eyes right now.
Honest tears.
And anyways, after Daniel LaRusso breaks up the pool party, his wife is like, man, I mean, maybe...
His very reasonable, normal wife.
Who I actually am really here for. I like his wife a lot because you see in subsequent episodes, like, she doesn't take all of this too seriously. She's like, okay, play with your karate friends now. Okay,
you know what's weird, though, is when he brings up that he saw the Cobra Kai sign, and he was like, hey, remember I told you about that kid in high school? And she's like, oh, yeah, briefly. I don't believe for a second that this is the first time he's ever mentioned.
Right.
It's unless it's been totally under the surface, and really that sign is what's bringing it all back. I feel like every month.
Yeah, you feel like he brings it up every day, so.
Daniel LaRusso.
Did I ever tell you about the time? Yes.
His life stopped in 1984. It never moved on, and
all the trappings of his existence just hide that secret trauma that he deals with.
But I think what the show is trying to say is actually he feels like he's doing really well, and now he realizes, oh, he never really got closure.
Right. There's always been a part of him that
karate closure has never happened for him.
Karate closure is important to all of us in some way.
I know. I never got it. I mean, I just abruptly stopped showing up to the dojo.
I never got it after my 2 lessons. Where are my karate pajamas? Where are mine?
This is what the podcast is about.
We're processing. It's cool. It's great. But yeah. So his wife basically tells him to be a normal human being. Although, you know, just to say things from the perspective of an Asian child, like, I think Daniel's being very reasonable by not murdering Samantha for having a party while he was away.
Ew! And having other people's junk in his trunks.
Yeah, he's surprised. When you put it
Okay,
that
sorry.
way. He's surprisingly forgiving about it after his wife tells him to calm down and says, it's okay for our daughter to want to be popular. It's all right. So you see them have a little moment where he remembers practicing karate with his daughter when she was, like, a little bit younger. And yes, he lives in flashbacks, man. But it's cute. And then he goes to see her, and they have a nice moment where you can tell Sam's, like, a pretty good kid, and Daniel's a good dad.
He also communicates in that flashback his vision of karate, which is karate is for self-defense, which is completely opposite to what Johnny's kind of ethos is, which is strike first.
Yeah, and I know Daniel's a pussy, but no, he's very much like, again, you see that motto again. It's just for self-defense. You see that he really misses teaching karate to his daughter, and then, like, when he goes to talk to her, he suggests that they invite her gentleman friend Kyler, Asian bully extraordinaire, for Friday night dinner.
Don't you think that's a little soon?
Yeah, it's way soon.
God, he has no chill.
Yeah,
like, none at all.
No, and it's actually, like, you actually start to, like, get over the fact that you're sort of off-put by his super successful smarminess when you see, like, how little chill he has. You're like, oh, okay. You're trying, Daniel.
This dinner scene, though, I love it so much because Kyler is such a bro. Like,
right, and I also love that, so Daniel makes him sushi and is like...
Again! I mean, do you think they have sushi every night?
I think that Daniel, like, his early experience knowing a Japanese person has made him into this, like, weird Asian fetishist.
Yeah.
And it's...
Oh, yeah, you get that super early on.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you from, Kyler?
Yeah, and Kyler, I love it. He's like,
Riverside.
Irvine, I think. You know, and... I really like it, because I think the show is also
like,
aware that this is kind of weird, that the dude is, like, fixated on Japan and his stupid knife that he bought in Okinawa and all that.
The yanagi, or yanagi-ba, depending on the region, is a knife used exclusively for cutting sashimi. I picked up this bad boy on my first trip to Okinawa. Voila. The famous LaRusso Ponzu Toro.
No thanks. I don't like sushi.
We haven't really gotten a full introduction to Miyagi, who is Daniel's sensei. But he finds a way to reference Miyagi. It's like the ghost of Miyagi is in the room at all times.
Oh my god.
He's like,
I mean, when
Kyler says a very normal thing, like, hey, we're like nice house or something. And like, Daniel's like, yeah, this is the fish. Like, I didn't like sushi.
Until
when I was your
Miyagi
age,
taught me
until
a very
I made
special
a
friend.
special friend in Okinawa. It's
Yeah.
like, oh
It's
man.
like, please stop talking about your one Asian friend.
Unfortunately, we know which friend he made in Okinawa.
Yeah, so it's interesting how he managed to work Miyagi into, like, almost every conversation. It's actually pretty hilarious. Like, after he has, like, kind of a fight with Samantha about throwing the pool party, he's looking at a picture of Miyagi and being like, I sure could use your wisdom right now. And it's like, Miyagi did not have a teenage daughter. What wisdom would he give you about this?
Yeah, he learns that all Asian people don't like sushi.
Yeah, that Kyler teaches him a valuable
It blows
lesson
his
about
mind.
that. Oh, and then this is important. He asks about Kyler's bruises, because Kyler has some, and Kyler basically says, oh, some homeless-looking guy.
Yeah,
at
he
a
does
strip
some
mall
creative
beat us
restructuring of what happened.
Right, he just, like, started hassling us when we were buying protein bars at the
Actually, that
mini-mart.
story checks out. Yeah.
Right, so,
Protein
anyway,
bars.
so then we see Daniel's brow furrow, and we have skipped something that happens a little before that, which is Miguel's first day at school.
Yes, we get so much we get the introduction to the teen dynamics, which
And
I guess
it's good. It's
we've
really
always-
good.
It is. So there's Eli.
Oh yeah, so Miguel, who has nowhere to sit in his first day, sits at a table with two nerdy looking guys, and credit to the show again. These two people become more important as time goes on. Like they
You've
are
revealed too much.
I have, haven't I? They're not just like his nerdy sidekicks. They become something more. You see Dimitri and Eli, and Dimitri's like a sarcastic, like, dweeb, and Eli is a very quiet dweeb who has, like, is it called a hair lip? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So he has, a fairly small scar, like, on his upper lip, but he's clearly very self-conscious about it. And then you see them, like, gazing longingly at the hot girls at the popular
And they
table.
say, hey, just because they're hot doesn't mean they're mean.
And then we flash to the hot girls who are
definitely mean.
definitely mean.
Super
mean.
Yeah. It's like, well...
well, there you go. And
I don't know
Dimitri
what
says...
fantasy world you live in.
Yeah. Dimitri says something that I think is a pretty great line. He's looking at the super alpha hot mean girl. Her name is Jasmine. She's a blonde. And he says, I don't care if she's mean. I'd kill both of you just for her to spit in my face. And
you think Dimitri's like well on his way to becoming like an incel?
yes. He's like accepted it. He's joined the Reddit forum.
I'm afraid.
He's done.
I'm very afraid. Keep the guns away from Dimitri.
Well, I mean,
I feel like he's a couple terrible incidents away from
being a school shooter.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's funny you should say that because his friend Eli, who's rather quiet at the moment, like he eventually like has some triggers as well. But we'll get to. No, I've said too much.
You have said too much.
I have.
So
keep watching, guys, if you haven't watched it.
God damn it.
But anyway, so this is actually, I guess, kind of important because Miguel sees Sam for the first time and is, I don't know, bewitched. And actually, he's like clearly hearing Johnny Lawrence's lessons to strike first in his head. He gets up to go talk to her, and then he sees Kyler, Asian boy.
Kyler cock blocks him.
Man. So, anyways. Lots of Kyler in this episode.
Kyler, it's a Kyler heavy episode.
Right, it's just Kyler's world and we're all living in it.
And he's so dopey and one-dimensional, you can't help but love
right.
it. And also because Kyler reveals so much. Like, Kyler serves as a sort of foil. It reveals Daniel LaRusso's, like, Orientalism.
Thank you, that was the word I was looking for, Orientalism.
Someone
yes.
get Edward Said on this.
So anyways, now we're back to...
You're forgetting one very important teen.
Ooh, what? Who?
One Robbie Keane.
Oh, yes!
So...
This episode actually introduces a lot of people in a short amount of time.
You forget
Enter
that
Robbie.
Johnny has a son, and he looks like a clone of Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
It's very strange. He has a haircut that has not been worn by anyone since 1997.
No, I feel so terrible for the actor to have to wear this through season after season. It's truly terrible.
Like, nobody has hair like this today. It's not... I don't get it. Like, the show's about 80s nostalgia. Why does he have the most 90s haircut ever? It just makes no sense. And
he's supposed to be like a teen bad boy, heartthrob.
Yeah,
He does Molly. I guess.
He's caught at school with Molly on him, and so they call all the names. They call Johnny Lawrence because, hey, Johnny's his dad, an emergency contact, and they couldn't reach his mom.
What do you want?
Robbie, what the hell? You doing drugs? You want to flush your life down the toilet?
Like you're one to talk. Don't try to play dad now. You're a pathetic loser.
He's been saving that up for a while.
You can clearly tell, yeah. You can clearly tell they're setting him up as a bad boy, but he has like a strangely young and innocent face. So it's almost like just by seeing him in this scene, you're like, okay, he's going to be a bad boy that's not that bad.
Yeah, so Johnny's not really part of his life. And you also find out, actually, Miguel's dad is not part of his life. So,
can I just say again?
A lot of daddy issues.
Miguel's actor, whose name I cannot recall at this exact moment, is really excellent. Like, he's just so good.
I know, he's so earnest.
And when he's talking about his dad, he's like so subtle about it. Kind of like, he's like, yeah, well, I just never really met my dad. So, and he's like,
you see Johnny's face soften a little bit.
They're both such good actors.
And all of us just die a little inside.
Right. Okay.
Anyway.
Are we done?
And are we done? I don't know. But then I feel like a terrible person because we are going to spend so much time just talking about poor Robbie Keane and his stupid hair and his stupid face and his stupid backstory. And theoretically, he has like a lot of issues. I mean, his dad's not in the picture. His mom is also kind of
She's
like
an
MIA.
alcoholic and not around much. I don't know why it is that we're so anti-Robbie, which you'll see over the course.
It's 90% the hair.
It's probably the
I
hair.
really think so.
Yeah.
He could shave it off.
He should really shave it
buzz
off.
cuts.
I mean, just maybe that would deepen his character a little bit, because you're just like, oh my god, you were such cliched teen angst. You were a Simple Plan song. Oh, it's
very good reference.
Right. If I can find a clip of "Welcome to My Life," I'm going to play it right here and right now. Anyway, we have met Robbie Keane, we get some Kyler action, and then we go back to Miguel in the dojo, doing some grunt work, washing windows. He's like, hey, should I be washing these windows a particular way? And Johnny don't give a shit, because this is not Miyagi-Do.
It's free labor, damn it.
Mm-hmm. And then we get to,
what karate lesson do you think he's teaching there?
That sometimes you gotta do what you're told.
Dedication. Grunt work.
You know what? I'm gonna say this is my interpretation of the show, which may actually be completely incorrect, but I think the point of Cobra Kai and Johnny Lawrence as a sensei is that he might seem like an asshole, and he might seem like he's teaching all the wrong lessons, but in a way, they're exactly the lessons that his students need.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, from my memories of karate, so many of them, it seems like they all start with a brutalizing workout, and that's actually what sort of separates the wheat from the chaff. Like, if you can handle doing push-ups on your knuckles.
Wait, did you guys actually do push-ups on your knuckles?
I'm just telling you that they made those 12-year-olds run drills that I don't think Marines do. Like, it was... I blocked that part of my life out. There's a reason I was a karate dropout.
So you think this is accurate. And I mean, personally, I'm like... Millennials are expecting everything to be handed to them. Okay, we're older millennials, so I feel bad saying that. And here's this guy saying, wash the goddamn windows and clean the toilet, and maybe that's good for you.
Fix those exposed wires.
Right. That's not child abuse. That's just good old fat... Maybe I do miss the point of Cobra Kai, actually. Anyways.
You wish you had a student.
I do. On an unrelated note, we're looking for an intern for the podcast. There's some wiring in my apartment that could use some fixing up.
That's true.
So
we've also briefly been mulling taking karate lessons. Which of our half-baked ideas will we go forth with?
We try to do all of these simultaneously, so let's see how this goes.
Podcast intern.
Now this is the last scene, basically, where Johnny's Johnnying it up, and Miguel's cleaning a toilet, and then who should burst in but Daniel LaRusso.
Again, I think what we're actually revealing here is that Daniel LaRusso is a control freak. He has this perfectly curated life, and the second he sees any kind of ripple in his dream world, he loses his shit.
Right, like as soon as he's like, what? Some homeless-looking guy practiced karate moves on my daughter's boyfriend, who I don't even like.
Yeah.
I gotta go confront this. It's clearly Johnny Lawrence, and I must go confront him about this.
It could have been any homeless guy.
Who knows karate? I mean, yeah. So it's a little bit like, okay, he drives up to the dojo and he storms in all on his high horse about like, yeah. You know
what the funniest thing Daniel LaRusso said is, I'm not here to rehash the past. What the fuck, man? All you do is rehash the past.
Yeah, come on now. I'm here to defend the honor of Kyler. Okay.
And Kyler's pathetic honor.
Right.
And Johnny doesn't even like sushi. I mean, I don't think...
Yeah, why are you even here for him? And Johnny Lawrence is all like, yeah, well, your daughter's friends were wailing on a kid half their size, which is an accurate depiction of events. And, Daniel's all like, fuck. I never. Anyways, after some scoffing and them like kind of staring at each other from across the dojo with the words "strike hard, strike first, no mercy" in the background between them, nothing really happens. And like Daniel just leaves and gets in his car and glowers. And again, I'm gonna give more props to Ralph Macchio for like making it so that his character is not sympathetic here. You're kind of like, what an asshat, man.
Also, he tries to make it seem like he's above it all, but he's so worked up. In fact, Johnny's the one that's very chill, and he's just like, get your house in order, LaRusso.
Right, maybe you don't know your daughter as well as you think. Truer words
do we know what's going on with any of the teens?
Right, I mean, I think that's a fair point, that it's like your daughter's friends are assholes. Look it up, bro. And, Daniel goes out and he's like so clearly believes that he has the moral high ground here and everywhere, and it's a good setup. Yeah. And it's where the episode ends, and it's just, God, this season is so good. The first season of this show is just almost perfect.
Almost perfect, huh?
Well, yeah, we'll get to the parts that I think are less than perfect. Robbie Keane's hair is the tip of an iceberg, and
I will we promise no spoilers, but I will say his hair does not get any better.
No.
No. It's disappointing. Nothing happens to it. There's not even a Supercuts around. Right. I mean, but maybe that's the real tragedy, is that he doesn't have the parental figures in his life to say, hey, go down to Supercuts. Get yourself something pretty.
It's not 1997. Get a fucking haircut.
Yes. Oh, this poor kid.
Right. And that's...
Oh, my God.
In a way, that's the true tragedy of Cobra Kai.
Get a haircut, kids.
Get a haircut. Come on. Anyways, if you take offense to our statements about Robbie's 90s-tastic hair, you can contact us, because we have a Twitter account now.
Yes, you can follow us at Kai_cast on Twitter. You will probably be our third follower. We're still holding out for Ralph Macchio and friends. But
right?
That's a work in progress.
We have, as Nina alluded to, created a number of Twitter accounts that didn't quite work.
Ghost accounts, yes.
And we kept following Ralph Macchio, so he's probably thoroughly weirded out.
He's such a nice guy. He'll either follow me back or give me a bonsai. One of those two things will happen.
Right, that's happening.
But yeah, you can email us all of your burning karate questions at CobraKaiNeverDiesCast@gmail.com.
And as always, kids,
strike first,
strike hard,
no mercy!